Wagwan, family and friends. My name is Zen, and I am an intuitive guide for my fellow artists and storytellers. And today, I want to talk to you about where ideas come from. Now, it's a very taboo subject because most artists and storytellers may not want to answer this question because they simply do not know. And I know that because of listening to other storytellers and artists being asked the question and having a creative way of answering the question without providing an actual answer that can actually help someone who may truly desire something tangible that will allow them to create the best they can. So, after spending time over years deep diving within myself, deep searching within myself, and deep allowing within myself, while learning and reflecting through my artwork and my stories and being able to see where I am and where I'm going through my pieces, I've come up with answers that help me on a day-to-day basis and keeps me in full rhythm with production and full rhythm with creating and allowing that to happen. Now, there are people in the world who struggle with not having enough ideas, and there are people in the world who struggle with having too many ideas. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter because it's not the quality, it's not the quantity, it's your connection to the idea that matters. However, there is not a good idea or a bad idea that streams through you. What makes us say that an idea is a good one or a bad one comes from the inspiration of others. Half the time, more than half the time we think about ideas, we are thinking about other people perceiving the idea and how it would resonate with them or a group of people, because often we're creating to entertain, we're creating to share expressions to help other people. But what we lose and forget in this moment, that moment that occurs, we forget that we are creating for ourselves. We forget that we're creating for self-expression, self-relief. And in doing that, people will resonate with what you do or have expressed, and then they will be given the opportunity to co-create a reality or a world that's new to them thanks to your honest, pure perspective. And that cycle right there, it gives birth to new forms and new levels of existence because of how much we allow ourselves to be genuine in the idea of we create for ourselves so that you can resonate with me and experience a new world you had no idea existed, applying what you already know with it so you can enjoy and expand with others, and so the journey begins of growth. Now, with understanding that an idea cannot be good or bad because we allow others to get into our heads and compare and contrast with others, we have to understand also that ideas are subjective. Someone else's opinion doesn't matter because of this subjectivity. Subjectivity meaning someone can like your idea based on how they're feeling in that moment, and it can change another time because they weren't ready to see it yet, or they saw it but it didn't resonate with them in that time because they haven't gone through life in a way for them to see it the way you believed they would have expressed emotionally what they've gotten from it. The expectation of going through that doesn't matter for you, but often when we share with someone our artwork, we want them to feel good. We want them to be stimulated in a way that can relieve them. We want them to feel pleasant. Sometimes people don't respond that way to what they see in our work, no matter how much we've put into it. So we develop a wall. And building this wall and putting it before our artwork, we give people our artwork and say, read my story, look at my artwork. When you're excited to share aspects of your expression, and it may not be fully completed, or it's on its way to completion, but you might be just excited to share it. I noticed what I've done in the past, and I know that others do it as well. We criticize our artwork when giving it to others and saying, hey, this isn't done yet, and it's not looking so good, but what do you think? And so in that moment, what's happening is we are developing a bad look upon our work before they're given the opportunity to co-create with it, to blend with it, to experience it, and have an opinion of their own. We struggle with the way we perceive our artwork, and so we put it on them to experience the same struggle, and hopefully they're sympathetic enough to say, hey, I'm not going to judge you so hard because of where you're at with it. So far, so good. But it doesn't happen that way. The excuses that we create for ourselves gets in the way. So now we understand that no matter if you have a good idea, now we understand that the amount of ideas you have, it doesn't matter. And now we understand that there is no such thing as a good idea or a bad idea. So what kind of idea is there? I refer to it as the complete idea. The complete idea is born through us. And we are often experiencing a complete idea through a moment of flow. A moment of flow occurs in the present moment. I created a video about it previously, talking about the power of the present moment for creative beings, for artists and storytellers. And when in the present moment, we are aligning three aspects of our minds, of our being, in a way that allows us to stream a sensation which we want to experience or express. We stream idea after idea after idea after idea so fast that it feels like one idea. When you align the three aspects of yourself that I'm going to share with you soon, you create an environment for you to enter a state of flow, and that state of flow is experienced often. We go through it all the time, and here's when and how. When you're creating a piece of artwork and you're writing a story, when you get lost in the craft and your labor doesn't exist, just the sensation in that moment, in that pureness of feeling creative, and next thing you know, 2-3 hours go by and you have something pleasant in front of you or progress in front of you. Time flies, we say. That's the present moment. That is the experience of the state of flow. What makes that state of flow occur is the alignment between the three aspects of ourselves. You have your higher mind, your higher self, your pureness, your ultimate being, the part of you that knows everything, where you're going, where you've been, your lives that you lived many, many times ago, and it's the pureness of who you are. Then you have your heart mind, your emotional space of experiencing the goodness and the graciousness and the blessedness and the honestness and the genuineness that your higher mind communicates through. Your heart and your higher mind operate on the same vibrational plane. They resonate, they're automatically resonating. And so you can use the heart to communicate through to your head mind. Your head mind consists of thoughts, things that often get in our way, and it can make up, and it is the makeup of our ego construct, because there we select what we say based off of how we choose to feel, then disconnecting or connecting ourselves with the higher being. When these three things fully function together in resonance, you will be given an idea. You will be then placed into the moment. You will be then in a state of flow. That's why we do the things we love, because we want to enter a state of flow so that we can get lost in self-expression and lost in experiencing ourselves. But we often, like I said earlier, when we share our artwork, we get in its way, developing this good and bad of what is seen within our artwork. However, thoughts are inspired by our environment, and we then develop a persona that tries to protect the higher self, the pureness, and protect the heart, the emotional experiences that communicate through us. And as artists, we deal with a lot of emotion. As storytellers, we deal with a lot of emotion. We do our best to express it. We embrace and we dive into these emotions. And because of that, we dive into our thoughts, which causes us to protect our heart and protect our pureness, which sometimes may inspire us to do things that we don't want to do because of how much we're trying to protect those things within us. And it sounds weird, but it happens. We do the weirdest things just to protect ourselves and our emotions. We lie. We do things that are not in alignment with the pureness that streams through us, that brings us into the present moment, that brings us into high forms of creativity, highest expression. We don't communicate through the heart when we use this fear-based mechanism, this ego construct that brings up blockages of the stream. It's the one thing that disconnects you from the heart and the higher mind, the higher self, the pureness. And that aspect of ourselves gives birth to a good or a bad idea. It gives birth to something that has been created, that doesn't need to be created, the idea between good and bad. It didn't exist. We gave birth to it. However, when the mind believes that it can, and in the simplest form, the mind of thoughts, when it is in alignment, when it is connecting with the pureness of yourself. Mind you, your pureness is the aspect of yourself that only sees goodness within you and around you. It's the perspective of being well, being safe, being healthy, being happy, being good, being great, being magnificent, being okay, being at ease, being relaxed. Those are terms and sensations that make up the higher self, along with its all-knowingness, its godliness that streams through us. When the higher mind and the mind that thinks and the ego construct is in alignment with the higher self, the pureness, when they are in alignment, what often happens is you then begin to think like the higher mind. Those thoughts no longer choose to believe in the negative outlooks of what it is that you're doing. You don't grade yourself poorly. You don't find the wrongs of what you're creating. Instead, you champion it. You celebrate over it. You believe in it. One step of the way, each step of the way, you feel good about what it is you're doing, and you find, with the thinking aspect of yourself, the thoughts, you find what works. You find what feels better. When you find these feelings and you can truly accept those feelings that you prefer to feel, you then become in alignment with the pureness of you. The pureness of you that lacks all that gets in the way from the ego construct if it were to stand alone. And here you are already aligned with your heart, because your heart is a direct reflection of the pureness. Once again, they resonate on the same vibe, same frequency, same energy level. They resonate together, and so you can communicate that. You can feel it. You can feel it, so you can express it, and so you can think about it, and so you can become it. That's how the trifecta works. You think it, you feel it, and you are it. And when those three things come together, you are given access to all the ideas that are complete. When we don't want any of those ideas and we find ourselves sifting through and saying, oh, that's for another time and that's for another time, that's us dismissing the present moment. That's us stepping out of the present moment and relocating and meddling with the pure moment that's occurring, and we disconnect ourselves. We're disassembling all the unified experiences and then begin to sort out things. And I'm not saying this is a bad thing. I'm creating an environment for you to become more aware of, so that you can become more intentional with your thoughts, your feelings, and who you truly are, so that you can create the ideas, not even create, so that you can allow the ideas to come through. You don't have to choose all of them. This is for those times when you just want to create, and you see a bird go by and you ask what if, and through asking what if and you're appreciating what's happening in that moment, you feel something. You feel really good about it. You follow that feeling of goodness, and then the pureness of yourself will then begin to reflect, and instantly you'll be given an aha moment. That's why we go for a walk, for that sensation. That's why we take a break when we hit a wall. That's when people get writer's block. They step aside, they take a nap, they relax, and you notice the more you work and work and work at it, you come up with mediocre ideas, and then you find yourself saying, okay, at least I got it done. I mentioned that in a video before. I said, yes, getting something done is for the sake of completing things when you want to work for clients and things of that nature. However, getting things done puts you in a place to later self-reflect, only to pick back up where you left off, but in a better state of mind, when you're better equipped to be in the present moment. Now let's recap. Ideas come from the connection between the way you think, purest self, and your heart. Your heart containing your emotions and the way you feel, your thoughts being all that you experience and remember, and which you're able to select and use as inspiration to further create. And then there's your higher self, who knows more than your thoughts, more than what you went through, and more than what you believe is going to happen next. And the only way it could be out of alignment with the other two is if it's thinking pessimistically. It's very simple stuff, but we have a hard time getting through it. It can be a challenge, yes, but it's difficult only because we allow it to be, because we are still fighting against the opportunities to surrender in moments due to pride and things of that nature. So when those three aspects of the self are in synchronistic movement, when the higher mind, the higher self is connected to the heart, which it already is, and the heart is connected to your thoughts, where we most likely will experience the challenges, because we will doubt ourselves sometimes. We will have challenges with our confidence, but that's the part of life. As creators, we go through the process of learning how to become better to ourselves, so that through the mind we get to further experience our pureness. We get to resonate with it in a way where we get to stimulate ourselves with things that reflect from the past how it felt, so that we can recycle and reuse the sensation coming from our heart that we have stamped and said, hey, I'm going to put this somewhere in my mind and say, hey, this was a time period where I felt good and happiness through my heart. And so my pure self continues to produce that because we focus on that. This allows us to have ideas we prefer, the complete idea. When we get the complete idea, we are in the moment, we are streaming on it, and one will flow one after another. You do it all the time, it happens. This is just a reminder. This is me sharing with you what you've already been doing, and now here's a deeper way to look at it so you can be more intentional. The best way to practice and get the most of this is by doodling more often, writing and creating without expectations, doing things without having an idea that forms limitations into you, because through this practice your focus is more on relaxation, releasing, zero criticism, enjoyment, believing in yourself, confidence. You're creating that. That's an opportunity to step into that flow and get more ideas. That's what we do to practice getting more complete ideas as often as we wish, by practicing sharing our expressions without limitations and diving into the abilities to write without thinking and draw without getting in our way, speaking kinder to ourselves. These things make a world of a difference. Once again, my name is Zen. Thank you for listening. Please like and subscribe. I love you. Thank you very much for listening. Peace for now.